Over the last week, I've made two guides. One guide about how to progress as a mage, another one about how to progress as a berserk. One of the most requested classes that I got though was how to progress as an archer. A lot of people have seen my video about the 1.5 billion coin archer setup, and so that's going to be a part of today's video. But there's a lot of people who are wondering, how do you actually start as an archer, some of the earlier classes that and setups you can use. So in today's video, we're going to be covering all that. When you reach late game as an archer, it gets very, very expensive. So we're going to be covering some of the earlier ways and a lot of the cheaper methods of how to actually get started as an early player, as well as mid, working your way up to late game as an archer. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you guys are subscribed. Only a small percentage of the people watching the video right now are actually subscribed. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this one, but you should subscribe. That's pretty cool. So I've put together some sets and some setups from level 1 all the way up through katas in the 30s. So hopefully that covers you. If for some reason your death streaks are eager on watching my video and you're in the 40s, well then you shouldn't be watching this video. But nonetheless, I do need to give a shout out to Death Streaks though for letting me borrow his late game archer setup. You guys will see that in a little bit. But I'm going to link his Twitch down below because Death Streaks is a freaking legend. But without further ado, let's jump right into this. If you're archer level 1 and it's your first time playing in the catacombs, then I recommend using the skeleton grunt armor set. This armor set's overall very cheap. As you can see, the chest plate being one of the most expensive pieces is only 13,000 coins. Honestly, it's pretty cool. It increases the damage you deal with arrows by 5%, obviously very crucial as an archer, but this is a very, very early game set, and I have another early game set, but it will cost you a few more coins. So if you have like no coins to invest, then this is the best setup to go for. It's like 40 to 50k coins for the entire set. So if you can't afford that, then well, you shouldn't be playing dungeons if I'm being honest, but that is what I recommend for the first set. After that, I recommend upgrading yourself to a skeleton master set. Make sure you try and go for the legendary variant so that you can get more of your reforges. I recommend running the pure or fierce reforge. Pure if you don't have 100% crit chance, and then fierce if you're going over 100% crit chance with this set. You get a lot of crit chance from this armor set, especially when you have it on pure. As you can see from the chest plate, we're getting 15 crit chance alone, which is actually really good. Some of the bows that you're going to want to rock when you're running the skeleton master set, this is for very early floors by the way. Either the magma bow, which consumes 1 magma cream from the inventory of your quiver to deal 2 times damage per shot, which is actually really good when you think about it. So make sure you just load up your quiver with magma creams. Make sure you keep that stocked. And if you want to use a dungeon bow, and the reason why I recommend the machine gun bow at this level is because it is a dungeon bow. You can actually 5-star to up its damage in dungeons, and even without that, it has 282 base damage in dungeons, which is that gray number next to damage. So it's already better than the magma bow in a lot of ways, and so you just want to 5-star this. Make sure to level it up. It's a relatively very cheap bow. You can actually pick them up from the floor probably even while you're running around with your magma bow. But this is going to be your first archer setup, and when you're running this setup, you're either going to want to use an epic skeleton pet or a legendary skeleton pet, whichever you can really afford. As you progress through the first few floors, you're going to start working your way towards adaptive set. This is probably the most consistent thing in these setup videos, and that is because adaptive is overall one of the best early game sets. Adaptive, it will cost you a few more coins. It's a couple million per piece, but the set bonus, as I said in the last 2 progression videos, there's a set bonus for every single class, being berserk, healer, mage, tank, and archer. In this case, archer's set bonus is plus 5 crit chance and plus 15 crit damage just for wearing the set, and it already has really good stats to begin with. What's really cool about this set as well, as you're leveling yourself up, your catacombs levels up very quickly at the beginning and slows down a lot as you level up further, obviously. But every 5 catacombs level, this armor piece gains plus 2% stats. So everything on the entire armor set gets buffed by plus 2% stats every 5 catacomb levels, which is already really good off the bat. The bow you're going to want to be using when you're running the adaptive set, you're going to want to work your way towards a spirit bow. A spirit bow is actually really decent, has really good base stats, and it is a dungeon item, so you can 5-star it as well. Deals plus 2% damage to undead monsters for every 1% of your missing health. So as you're losing health, you're actually doing more damage. And then there's also a spirit item. When turned to a ghost, this item becomes a ghost ability, so you can keep shooting stuff even if you keep on dying on earlier floors. Also, it has a spirit bomb ability. It's nothing crazy, but it's always nice to get something extra out of it. In terms of pets, you're definitely going to want to have a legendary skeleton pet by this point. Increases arrow damage by a percentage, which is tripled while in dungeons, which is already insane off the bat. It's really cool that they have a dungeon stat on this pet. And yeah, there's a few other stats on there which are really good. Your skeleton shoots an arrow, dealing 60 times your crit damage when a mob gets close to you, 15-second cooldown. So that's extra damage around you, basically, just keeping you alive for a little bit longer. And gain a combo stack for every bow hit, granting +3 strength, max 10 stacks. Stacks disappear after 8 seconds. So once again, just adding on more strength as you keep on going. And the pet base stats are crit chance and crit damage, which are exactly what you're looking for as an archer. So this is the pet I recommend. If you had an epic one when you're running Skeleton Master, you can also upgrade in cat, and then you'll be well on your way. In dungeons, I find that going from adaptive to the next step is where things start getting expensive, and it's no difference here. This isn't too terrible of a jump, but it's still a big jump nonetheless. In terms of getting closer to late game, this is around floor 5-ish. Floor 5, maybe even floor 6 if you're feeling lucky. But you have the full Shadow Assassin set, as you can see right here. The Shadow Assassin set's really good, each piece granting a different bonus on teleport, as well as the full set bonus, collect the shadows of the enemies you kill, increasing your damage for the rest of the dungeon while wearing the set, +1 strength per kill. So let's say you just killed 20 mobs with your bow, you have +20 strength for the rest of the dungeon. So you want to make sure that you get as many kills in early on into the dungeon floor as you can. So by the time you get to any boss, you have a huge strength bonus, and this is already amazing right off the bat. Also, what's really good about this setup is overall you have +100% crit damage from each piece. So that is actually insane. 25 per piece and 100 overall. Same with your strength. So really good off the bat for an archer as well. And also, in terms of bows you're going to want to be running, Last Breath is a really good option. There's 2 bows that you should be working towards when you get this setup. Also, if you can't afford the entire Shadow Assassin set, you can feel free to use an adaptive chestplate or a Skeleton Master chestplate and kind of interwork the pieces. But Last Breath, really good bow, reduces the defense of your target by 50 on hit, stacks up to 2 times, basically reducing the defense, making your mob easier to kill if it has a lot of health. Overall, really good stats in dungeons, as you can see next to damage and strength, plus 585 damage and plus 585 strength, just base stats. And you can 5-star this weapon, which is always really nice. Another thing you should be working towards, though, is running floor 4s so that you can start saving up spear bones. Spear bones right now are like 4.5 mil, and you need a lot of them to get boomerangs. So you should try and get yourself at least 1 boomerang while running this setup. And then also saving up for like 3 or 4 more, because that's going to lead us into our last setup here. But the boomerang, very expensive weapon right now because not a lot of people are actually running floor 4s. So start saving up your spear bones. Seriously, don't sell them if they're profit. Like, you're just going to want to hold on to these as an archer. And if you're struggling with dying, I recommend the Baby Yeti pet. It's gone down a lot in price. You can get like a level 1 for like below 30 mil a lot of the time, which is really good. But as you can see, one of the best abilities on this thing is gain your a percentage of your strength as defense. And with archer, you have a lot of strength. So when you have all that strength being converted into defense as well, it actually can like make you survive a lot easier. So I recommend the Baby Yeti pet. Also has some base strength on it at the top, as you can see. This is the pet you're gonna want to go with if you are running archer at this stage, because you're gonna be a little bit squishier than tanks and mages, obviously. So running a Baby Yeti pet will actually save your life a lot of the time. So that leads us on to our last setup for archer, and this is very late game. Obviously, this is something it's very expensive, this setup here. I mean, yeah, so you're going to be looking at either a full Necron set or a Necron set with a diamond head or a gold head, whatever you have for that floor that you're running, for example. So if I'm running floor 7, this is the best helmet to use as an archer. Very expensive set nonetheless. For those who don't know, Necron set is made from the Wither set that you can get in floor 7 chests. You need to surround it with Diamante's handles, which are about a little under 2 mil each. So per piece, it's going to be like 15 mil to upgrade it to Necron. And you need to do that for 3 pieces. And then obviously you can 5-star it, all that stuff. In terms of weapons though, so a couple bow combinations. You're going to want to be mainly using boomerangs, as you can see. So that's why I was saying when you hit floor 4, seriously stay on floor 4 for a while, save yourself some money and get them from chest, because you can actually get spirit bones for 500k from an emerald chest on floor 4. So if you can start saving those up, instead of paying 4.5 mil per spirit bone, you can save yourself a lot of money when going to make this setup, and it's definitely going to be worth your time if you plan on staying archer for a long while. In terms of other bows to keep on your hotbar, in terms of more like spam, because I don't know, the boomerangs do have cooldowns once you throw them. So death bow, really good bow. You unlock this when your catacombs level 28. You can buy it from Ophelia, actually, who is the NPC right over here. As you can see, Ophelia, and you can buy a death bow for 4.85 mil, as you can see. And it's a really good bow. Honestly, the best thing even for doing zombie slayers, it does so much extra damage because it deals plus 100% damage to undead monsters, which is already pretty insane off the bat. In terms of pets with this setup, you're going to want to be running a wither skeleton or an ender dragon pet, basically something that can optimize your damage, which is really cool. But some of the good stats on wither skeleton when it comes to floor 7, take 30% less damage from skeletons, deal 50% more damage to wither mobs. Upon hitting an enemy, inflict the wither effect for 200% damage over 3 seconds, which is pretty insane. Some pet items to put on these pets are Spooky Cupcake or Antique Remedies, something that will basically boost your strength. And what's nice about the Cupcake is it also boosts your speed, so you can actually run a lot faster and get out of situations you don't want to be stuck in while in dungeons, which is pretty cool. This setup though, this is a very expensive setup. The helmet alone, 180 mil plus. The armor set, well over 100, and then the boomerangs, very expensive. Yeah, this setup gets very expensive very quick. But this is late game archer. This is the meta right now in terms of archer setups, and so this is what you're gonna be rocking with. Huge shout out to Deathstreaks. This is not my armor. This is my pet and my death bow, but that's about it. Otherwise, I went and I bought a Shadow Assassin, Last Breath, Spirit Bones, all this stuff. I bought all this stuff for the video today to show you guys. So hopefully you guys appreciate the extra work put in, you know. Archer class also has a lot of buffs that you'll just be leveling up as you level up your catacombs level and your archer level, so make sure you guys keep an eye on that, like chances to double shot and a few other perks like that. But nonetheless, I believe that is it for our archer showcase today. If you guys figured something out or learned something today, then make sure you guys show that you did by leaving the like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here. I appreciate all the support here on the channel recently. You guys are actually insane. Well on the way to 70k. If you guys want to be a part of that, then subscribe. You know, join the Discord down below if you guys are you want to stay up to date on everything Zach plays in, you know, because it's a good topic to stay up to date on. Also, shout out to Deathstreaks, link to his Twitch down below. Appreciate him letting me borrow his set. Imagine if I had to buy a maxed archer set for this showcase video. Oh my goodness, I would have cried. But thank you guys so much for watching, and that's going to be it for me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, and peace.